I'm Mark Small. This is Civil Discourse Now. It's December 23rd, 2022. I want to discuss a topic that's kind of atypical for this show, somewhat maybe, because normally we're talking about like politics and stuff. But this is a time of year when a lot of people will when somebody's trying to sell a certain type of line of thought, they'll say, well, the holidays are the time that have the highest rates of suicide. No, they don't. Only for one demographic, and that's college students, and that's because of finals. And they peak twice during the year. The other time is in the spring. I don't know what trimesters do that to that kind of schedule, but depression and suicide are not funny things to talk about necessarily, but nobody will talk about them. So here's the thing: if you're depressed, if don't worry about whether, well, I got in the line yet, or I think I might hurt myself. No, just there are people out there to help. 988 is the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. They just started that a couple of months ago, where it went nationwide. You can call in. It's confidential. Now here's the thing: nobody's going to come storming into the door of your house or wherever you are, unless you're giving direct ideations of wanting to hurt yourself or others right then. They view your having called in as being an effort to try and communicate, and they want to talk. They want to make sure that you're okay and get you help that you need. So unless you're going way over that line, they're going to be talking to you. And these are professionals, people who want to help you. That's 988 is the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. There's also a Trevor Project Lifeline. That's an LGBTQ positive youth crisis line, and that's 866-488-7386. There's also, and LGBTQ kids are more likely to be in depression for a lot of different reasons, mainly because of societal pressures and having to worry about coming out and adjusting to society, and society adjusting to them, or rather not. There are also there's a veterans crisis line. That's 800-273-8255, and that's a terrible thing that we do to our veterans, is we put them in wars that make no sense. Rather, they're not wars. We haven't been in a war since 1945. But if you are going through depression right now because you're a veteran, that's a crisis line you can call. But I'm pretty confident that any of these lines you call in, you're talking to somebody, they want to help you, they'll help you, because you're not alone out there. Just because it's the holidays, it can suck being by yourself on Christmas, or on New Year's Eve. It really can be a drag, but it's not that big of a drag. As you can't talk about suicide necessarily. It's not a polite thing to talk about. Well, I'm really depressed. Are you going to kill yourself? Well, philosophically, how is it that you don't do that, not in a holiday setting? Although Albert Camus in Myth of Sisyphus said that the first question a person should have is whether they should live. Now, he was called an existentialist, and he said that's absurd for a philosophy, because that just means you've decided to live. How can that be an entire philosophy? So just call one of those numbers if you're really depressed right now. You're bummed out. A lot of things are going, and sometimes you just need to talk to somebody. 988 is the Suicide and Crisis Lifeline. The Trevor Project Lifeline is 866-488-7386. And the Veterans Crisis Line is 800-273-8255. Now, last thing, and I'm just trying to get people information out there. The last thing is, Dorothy Parker was a writer in the 20s and the 30s. And she wrote a poem called Requiem, and she died of old age. Okay, but it goes like this: acid stain you, drugs cause cramps, razors pain you, rivers are damp, guns are unlawful, nooses give, gas smells awful, you might as well live. So that's from somebody who is cynical about things, and she lived into her 80s or whatever. So whatever things you're going through right now, if you're depressed, if you're bummed out, uh, there are a lot of people who are, and a lot of people have gone through these things. So I'm Mark Swallows. It's Civil Discourse Now. It's December 23rd, 2022. Peace, love, happiness, all that. Nanu, nanu. And I approved this message. I made it.